Thank you for watching. This is a quick introduction to some popular myths and misconceptions about practical real-world fighting according to Wing Chun, Manuel Tony. So the first and perhaps the foremost of these, that size and strength are all important in dictating the outcome of a real-world street fight. Yes, of course they have importance. Their relevance is far less than one might necessarily think. It's certainly far less than striking power and accuracy, for example. This is the reason why size and strength actually have relatively limited amount of dictating the outcome of a typical no rules real world street fight. There's two reasons for this. The first is that size and strength, weightlifting power, bench press ability don't equate to striking power. In fact, they can often be inversely correlated. If you're very tense and have a limited range of movement, your striking power may be pretty limited, even if you can lift a lot of weight. So you need to be training striking something of bag work to generate that striking power. Strength is not mutually exclusive with striking power, but the latter must be trained. The second reason is that the capacity of the human body to withstand powerful barehanded strikes at the vital points is pretty limited. The capacity of the head to withstand a powerful barehanded strike, certainly a succession of powerful bare knuckle strikes to the jaw, is pretty limited. In the case of the throat, there is no capacity at all. A powerful strike aimed at that point accurately will end a fight instantaneously. So you take these two factors into consideration. You have the reality that size and strength don't matter as much as you might think in dictating the outcome of a real world no rules street fight. It's much more to do with aggression, striking power, striking accuracy. Another misconception is that there's any foolproof way in any martial art to deal with the visual phase of a fight. There is no foolproof way to bridge contact. It's for this very reason you will see professional fighters take a great deal of careful time before risking making that bridge. It's much easier to dictate the outcome of the contact phase of a fight via either grappling or chi-sao. The visual phase, making that initial point of contact, is messy and typically dangerous. Lastly, it's perhaps not much of a secret anymore, but the majority of conventionally taught martial arts either have relatively limited practical use in a spontaneous no-rules real-world situation, or they are not taught in such a way that allows them to be easily applied or adapted to that situation. So the reality is some decent practical MMA, some bag work for striking will be the quickest way to learn how to handle yourself in most situations. That said, MMA is not itself without its own limitations. Quite rightly, it prevents the most lethal strikes being used in competition to prevent serious injury or death to its competitors. But that means you have a whole set of movements and situations that arrive in MMA or UFC that have relatively limited real-world relevance. The relevance of clinching, groundwork, if gloves are not worn, open-handed strikes permitted, elbow point strikes permitted, groin, throat, eye strikes permitted, is frankly pretty limited. If you're within touching distance of someone, you can hit or injure all those vital points of the body, which renders any of that situation relatively limited in the real world.